Hi, I'm Lizzie and this is Lizzie Reads, and welcome to my video. I am going to talk to you today about 5 thoughts I had while reading Grown Ups by Marian. I'm sure you might have heard of it before, but if you haven't, it's a new release from the Irish author Marian, and it's about the Casey family, who are primarily in the story made up of 3 brothers and their partners and kids. And there's a few stepkids, and there's some cousins, and there is the Casey brothers' parents at some point, but it's mainly about the 3 brothers and their 3 wives. They've all got wives, and it was very interesting to me. The main driving force of the story is in the prologue, and it's about a time 6 months from the point where the first chapter starts. And Cara, Ed's wife, she hits her head and she has bad concussion, and she starts spilling secrets, as it were, about the family, and just opening this huge can of worms for secrets for this family. And I think that's a really interesting part, but then it goes back 6 months, I think, and you get to learn all about the family and where these secrets came from, or how the secrets sort of became secrets, what's going on 6 months ago. I thought it's sort of a new style of review video for me that makes, because I really am wanting to do more reviews, but I thought this would make me feel more comfortable to do reviews because it's more by the thoughts that I have had. It's just a structured way for me to not feel the pressure of a review. And I wrote some notes. Well, I say some notes, I've got plenty of notes. Actually, look, that's for another video, but I've got quite a lot of notes for what I wanted to be rough bullet points. So my first thought was, why do I keep being drawn to books about rich people? Or people that are richer than myself. There are different levels of wealth within this family, and the central people who appear to be the most wealthy are Jesse and Johnny, who are the older brother and his wife. They seem to be the very wealthy of the family. They take them all on holidays and stuff. There are layers of wealth surrounding this family. So there's, but they all give the appearance to be quite wealthy, or just generally very middle class in their tastes and what they prioritise their money for. It often gives interesting family dynamics, and I think I've noticed it in a few books that are about wealth or appearance of wealth, middle class families, and similar novels. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but it does seem to be a similar theme, and it's quite interesting actually. I like the way it's portrayed in this family particularly, but they are all very rooted in the middle class, I think, definitely. But there are a few outsiders in the family. One of the wives and a stepson seem to be acknowledging the privilege within the family and some of their behaviours. They definitely acknowledge what is negative about their wealth, or how they use their wealth and distribute their wealth that's negative. I thought that was quite an interesting layer to the story as well. I wouldn't say it's like anything super original in that aspect, but it does make quite a large novel. It adds something a little bit different to it than just the family saga. Sometimes it's the root of it. It sort of gives you that instant stereotype to base the rest of the characters on, I think. Second, maybe this should have been first, but there is a trigger warning for bulimia. There is bulimia is dealt with very heavily in this book. I don't know if I'd say it's the most graphic portrayal I've ever read, but it goes to a point where I definitely say that it could be seen as uncomfortable for certain people who have phobias towards sickness and / experience disordered eating. I definitely think it could be triggering. I did research a little bit into this, very minor touch the surface of research, but Marian does appear to have experience with disordered eating, so she is talking from a reference. She has a very strong reference point within herself. She didn't say specifically in the article for Independent Island, I'll link it down below. She's definitely suffered with disordered eating, which was good to note that she's not just writing about an experience she doesn't know about. So I imagine it might be very accurate to her feelings / experiences, but obviously I can't comment particularly, but that's something that I did consider. Yeah, I wrote down that I felt like I was going through the motions with her, and I felt like I kind of got tripped up in her denial, because occasionally I felt like, yeah, she's got it I didn't feel like she's got it under control, but I felt like she kind of, there's a point in the novel where it was quite early on where I thought, oh, it won't go to the point where it's bulimia, like she's gonna come back from this. I felt like I believed her self-affirmations of denial. I just thought when it was in its early stages of this stage, she'd been through it before, but at this point in the novel I don't think I knew. But I really felt like, oh yeah, she's fine, you know, she's not fine, but she's gonna be fine. I really felt myself getting tripped up in that, and I know that sounds that probably doesn't makes me sound the best, but I just felt I got caught up in it a bit. Number 3, one thing I thought the whole way through it was the most easy to read, compelling novel I think I've read in such a long time. I found myself just tripping through hundreds of pages at a time without even batting an eyelid, like getting up to go to the toilet and be like, oh, I've read 100 pages, instead of like picking up my phone and go. I read it so easily. Once I got into it, I read it very, very easily. I think I read the last 400 odd pages in a day. I really read it so quickly, and it had really, really short chapters, which is like my favourite thing in a novel ever, because it just makes me get so wrapped up in it easier. Number 4, I kept thinking of the characters like on a spectrum of like good, bad, like hate sort of spectrum, and I found that characters I sort of picketed at one end at the beginning. Towards the end, actually, I didn't think them to be so bad, or not bad at all. It's just their betrayal, and I think they are pegged into certain stereotypes, but then complexified, I don't know if that's a word, but they're made much more complex, which I really liked. I really liked the characters in the story. I really liked the way they were developed. 5, one thing I really liked is how it covered quite a few different perspectives in the third person, because I felt like as a whole family saga, you definitely got to see different points of the family quite differently. You got to see different points of the family and the different angles and the way different people view each other, and you could see how it's mainly the 3 wives in the novel whose perspectives I think you see. Do you see anyone else's perspective? I think you see one of the husbands and maybe 1 or 2 of the kids. But I really, really liked the way how one character would be feeling this way and how everyone felt these feelings about them, but it didn't even cross another character's mind. They viewed them to be perfect. I really liked that sort of juxtaposition. I thought that was really interesting. I just felt like it was very realistic as a whole. As a whole novel, I felt like it was very realistic, and I felt like I really connected to the characters. I think that was the best thing about it. I really just felt like I was in it with them, like sort of experiencing it. And obviously the plot wasn't, the most revolutionary, but I liked it. I enjoyed the plot. I liked the characters. I just think the character building was really, really, really compelling, and that's why I think these 5 points are not drastically different. And this is what I wanted to talk about. These are 5 things I might not have spoken about if I just reviewed it, because I would have definitely said about the easy, compelling read, but I probably would, and the believe me, obviously I would have spoken about that. But I don't think I would have spoken about the wealth tax aspect in as much detail. And I know that's not as interesting for everyone, but I really think it's something to note, because not everybody likes reading books about very wealthy, rich people. I keep calling them rich when they're not rich, but they're definitely wealthy, well off, comfortably living with a lot of disposable income, and in big houses. So I think it was definitely a book I would recommend, and it's the second Marian Keyes I've read, and I think I'll definitely read some more, because I read This Charming Man when I was on holiday one time. I think I might pick another one up once this is all over, and definitely look into it some more and read it. But yeah, so if you have read this, as I know that quite a few people have already, please talk to me in the comments. If you've got anything to say, just let me know and I'll chat straight back to you. And thank you so much for watching this video, and stay safe and take care.